Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I just finished my lunch. Okay, uh, it's already 1 p.m. Miss Fozana, may we start the meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we can start meeting now.
Okay. uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, my distinguished directors. Thank you, everyone, for attending the Maju Vertiga Berhad's Annual General Meeting 2022 on the 20th January 2022. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Tan Sri Yusuf Jalil, and I'm the chairman for today's annual general meeting. Without further delay, I would like Ms. Fozana, the company secretary, to confirm the quorum is present and voting.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with Section 19 of the Constitution, the quorum is present. We will proceed with our meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Fozana. Before we proceed with the meeting, I would like to introduce the participants of today's annual general meeting. First, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Muhtar Haji Dasuki, the Managing Director. Thank you, sir. Uh, Second, Yang Berbahagia Puan Sri Dr. Lim Theng Ye, the Executive Director. Thank you, Doctor. And third one is Mr. Yo Hwa Sao, the Executive Director. Thank you, sir. And last but not least, Ms. Fauzana, the Company Secretary. Okay, thank you, everyone. Let us commence the annual general meeting. All right. The notice of convening this board meeting has been sent to all board of directors of the company. Thus, with the consent of the members present, I declare that the notice of board meeting have been circulated for the prescribed period was taken as read. So, can Ms. Farzana, can you briefly explain to all of us about the voting procedure?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Everyone, please raise your hand as confirmation when Mr. Chairman asks for a vote on the resolution to be offered from the floor. If you have any questions about the procedure, please do not hesitate to ask them immediately. If not, I'll pass back to our chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Farzana. Let us proceed to the agendas of the meeting. Okay. As our first agenda, which is to review and approve the audited financial statements for the year ended 30 September 2020. Pardon me. Since the auditor is not here with us, Puan Sri Lim Theng Ye, do you mind doing the honor of presenting and expressing the opinions on behalf of the auditor?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As in the audited financial statement of Maju Vertical Berhad for the year ended 30th of September 2020, this financial statement consists of a statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, statement of financial position, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flow for the year ended, and lastly, the notes of financial statement. The opinion statements by the outgoing auditor express that Maju Vertical Berhad financial statement give a true and fair view, and it is compliant with the GAAP, which is the General Accepted Accounting Principle. Moreover, the auditor also believes that audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our audit opinion. Therefore, the financial statements for Maju Vertical Berhad for the year ended 30th of September 2020 are declared as appropriate opinion. That's all for the opinion from the auditor. But I have some example to show. So these are the statements of profit and loss and other comprehensive income, statement of financial position, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows, and lastly, notes to the financial statement. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Puan Sri. So I believe everyone has read the audited financial statements. Does anyone have questions to ask? If there is no query, then I would like to put the resolution to vote. Does anyone agree with the proposed audited financial statement? Okay. Mr. Yo, do you have any queries regarding the audited financial statement? Yeah, you're muted. You cannot hear you. Mr. Yo, do you have any queries regarding the audited financial statement?
No, no problem. It's good.
Okay. Okay. Secretary, you may go on.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, all the votes are in favor, including Mr. Yu.
Okay. I hereby declare the resolution to approve the company's audited financial statements for the year ended 30th September 2020 to be passed. Thus, these audited financial statements will be presented in the upcoming annual general meeting for discussion only. Let's move on to the next agenda. Um, okay, so now we will continue to the next resolution, which is to approve the statements, so the reports related to the financial statements of the company for the year ended 30 September 2020. I would like to invite Puan Sri Lem Teng Ye again as the representative to give the opinions of the directors.
Thank you, Dato. In the opinion of the directors, the result of the operations of the company during the financial year were not affected by any item, transactions, or event of the material and unusual nature. In addition, the financial statement of the company are drawn up to give a true and fair view of the situation of a company as at 30th of September 2020, and it is also compliant with the General Accepted Accounting Principle GAAP.
Thank you, Puan Sri. I guess there should be no questions about the director's report. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Since the auditor has also given an opinion on the audited financial statements, I believe for this there should be no questions on the auditor's report, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now I will put this resolution to a vote. Please raise your hand if you agree to the if you approve the director's reports and auditor's reports. Okay, thank you everyone. Since everyone agrees, I hereby declare that the resolution to approve the related financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 30 September 2020 has passed. Thus, the director's report and auditor's report will be presented in the next annual general meeting along with the audited financial statements for discussion only. Let us move on to the next agenda. Okay, for our next agenda, I would like to discuss the retirement and re-election of directors in accordance with the Company Act 2016, Section 205. Ms. Fauzana, would you like to elaborate more about this matter?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. According to the Act 2016 Section 105, about 1 out of 3 or near the amount of 1 out of 3 of the directors must retire at the next annual general meeting. The directors who have the longest service to the company will be taken into consideration to be retired. However, Datuk Mokhtar Haji Dasuki is the managing director where he is excluded from consideration in accordance with Schedule 3. Additionally, according to the Company Act 2016, Section 105, a retiring director which are qualified is eligible for re-election for the next annual general meeting.
Who is going to retire in next AGM?
For the current agent, it is Mr. Nathan Nair.
Okay, so Mr. Nathanair is going to be retired for next AGM. In accordance to Section 205, Mr. Nathan is qualified to be re-elected. Am I correct, Ms. Fauzana?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, is correct.
All right. With the approval of Mr. Nathan, I hereby propose the re-election of Mr. Nathan to be re-elected during the next annual general meeting. Those in favor to re-elect Mr. Nathan, please raise your hand. Okay. With the majority of vote, it is concluded that Mr. Nathan will be retired and re-elected in the upcoming annual general meeting. Let's move on to the next agenda. Okay. Now I would like to propose an approval for the payment of directors' fees for the year ended 30 September 2022 amounting 1,250,000 ringgit. Does the board approve this? You please raise your hand if you approve this proposal. Okay, thank you everyone. Because there is no disagreement, we shall move to the next agenda and I shall implement this. I will approve this increase of approval fees. Now for our next agenda is the appointment of the company's auditor and fix their remuneration. Does the board have any candidates to propose to appoint the auditors and to fix its remuneration?
Yes, I would like to appoint Mr. Yo Waso as the auditor of Maju Vertika Berhad for the fiscal year ending 30th September of 2020 to fix the auditor's remuneration.
Okay. Does the board agree with this proposal to promote Mr. Yo Wasau as the company's auditor and to fix their remuneration? Please raise your hand. Okay, thank you, board. I hereby pass this proposal to appoint Mr. Yo Wasau as the auditor and fix its remuneration. Let's move on to next agenda. Okay. For next agenda is related to the approval of authority to issue shares according to section 75 and 76 in Company Act 2016. Ms. Fauzana, would you like to explain this matter to the board?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with Section 75 in Company Act 2016, the directors of the company are entitled to issue and allot shares upon approval of resolution by the company has been obtained. In addition, Section 76 stated that the approval may be confined to a particular exercise of that power generally, and any such approval may be unconditional or subject to the conditions.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ms. Fauzana. Does anyone have any questions regarding this?
No.
No.
No
No.
question, okay. Okay, thank you everyone. If there is no question, for those who have agreed, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. With the majority of votes, I hereby declare that this resolution is passed. Let us move on to the next agenda. Okay, let us move on to the next resolution, which is regarding the amendments of existing constitution for clause 59. This existing clause is regarding the procedures of the general meeting. But because of COVID-19, Maju Vertika Berhad must be able to conduct a hybrid meeting using the remote participation and electronic voting facilities, or RPEV. Thus, I would like to discuss the amendments of the procedures for the general meeting to adopt to this method. Ms. Fauzana, can you read the amendments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Here are the proposed amendments. Under clause 59.1, general meetings can be held at more than one company using any technology or method that enables the member of the company to participate and to exercise the member's right to speak and vote at the meeting. Clause 59.2, the technology to be used allows the participated members in the virtual meeting to communicate with each other. The media that is used may include telephone, television, video conferencing, or any other telecommunication or digital methods which permit instantaneous communication. Clause 59.3, to constitute a physical or virtual general meeting, and all provisions of this constitution relating to general meeting must provide the following conditions. All the members for the time being entitled to receive notice of the general meeting shall be entitled to receive notice of the physical or virtual general meeting. Notice of any such meeting shall be given by any appropriate form of technology or in such other manner as determined by the Board of Directors and permitted by this Constitution. And the members who attend the general meeting remotely may participate, speak, and vote at the physical or virtual general meeting, provided that the remote location should leverage on technology to facilitate voting, including voting in absentia and remote shareholders' participation at the physical or virtual general meeting.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fauzana, for reciting the proposed amendments. Does the board agree with the amendments? Please raise your hand. Okay, thank you, board. With the majority of votes, I hereby pass the amendments to be implemented. Let us move on to the next agenda. Okay. Next is to amend clause 110 regarding the issuance of shares. I would like to remove par value and premium in this clause because we must take consideration of the new Company Act 2016 Section 74 requirements, where all shares issued shall have no par value. Can the board agree on this? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you, fellow directors. I hereby pass this amendment and shall be implemented. Let us move on to the next agenda. Okay, we will continue with our next agenda. Here, I would like to inform the board regarding the resignation of our previous auditor from the last audited accounts.
Yes, for your information, Ernst and Young has resigned from giving further audit and assurance services on 15 November 2021 after the last audited account. Jimmy Chong from Ernst and Young has had a conversation with Datuk Muhtar Haji Dasuki on their resignation.
Yes, Jimmy Chong has called me to inform me that their company is unable to serve our company due to the several reason. They are facing some problems where they have an auditor rotation and downsizing of their audit team. This problem has made them decide to resign from being auditor for our company.
So it means that we need to appoint a new auditor, right?
Yes, Point 3. We need to appoint a new auditor for our company. Regarding this matter, I have a of Deloitte as our new company auditor.
Okay, thank you for the suggestion. Does the board agree with the appointed auditor from Deloitte as
Yes, I think it's a good selection.
using a good suggestion? Okay.
Yes, I agree with Miss Fauzana's suggestion.
Okay. As everyone acknowledged this matter, I would like to, because everyone has acknowledged this matter, I would like to propose a vote. Does if anyone agree with the proposed auditor, please raise your hand. Okay. Because with the majority of votes, I will implement this resolution to appoint Deloitte as our new auditor. We shall move on to the next agenda. Okay. Next, I would like to bring up the matters regarding Mr. Yo Hua Sao's indemnity regarding legal actions against him. Mr. Yo, would you like to elaborate on this matter?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so it appears that I'm getting a backlash from one of our corporate social responsibility program that we held in August 2021 at Wisma MPR Kuala Lumpur. During that time, the company held an offline seminar where we provide a barber practical training so that the participant can make their own business by opening their own barber shop. However, some of the people near the building did not like the ongoing program because of COVID-19 and said that we are jeopardizing safety issues in the vicinity. Me, as the person in charge of the program, is getting threats of being reported to the Royal Malaysian Policy by one of the people that complained. Although we have gained permits from the state government and have complied with the safety regulation as the requirements such as COVID checking and vaccine verification, I still need some assurance and indemnity for the possibility of getting legal action against me. That is my current situation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Yo. The board will try its best to assure your safety against legal charges regarding the matter. Would the board like to propose a recommendation regarding Mr. Yo's indemnity against future legal charges?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to propose some action to be taken. First, we need to collect any legal documents regarding the program, whether it's an internal document, existing permits, and healthy safety data that is received, such as a COVID check and vaccine verification as a supporting evidence for the legal concern. Next, we will inform the company public relation to bring a new journalist to run an interview with Mr. Yo, so we can be open to the public about the situation regarding this matter in order to mitigate any spread of misinformation that could damage the company reputation. But last but not least, the company will provide a suitable lawyer if a possibility of legal action against Mr. Yo's occur. So that is my recommend for our solution to Mr. Yo. Any opinion from the board?
Thank you, Dato, for the proposed solution. I believe this is the concrete solution for Mr. Yo's concern to prepare any future legal charges against him.
Yeah, same with me. I second this proposal.
All right. Does the board approve the proposed solution to Mr. Yo's indemnity? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you, board. With the majority of votes, I hereby pass the proposed solution and shall be implemented immediately. Let us move on to the next agenda. Okay. Next, I would like to discuss the letter of demand from Kencana Berhad. Uh, Anyone would like to elaborate on this matter?
Yes, the letter of demand for the outstanding balance. The letter of demand is about the demand for outstanding balance of 350,500. It is regarding the demand of the payment of outstanding debt from Kencana Berhad relates to the steel purchases that have been made in the previous 1 year period. As how we deal with this matter, we need to make a separate payment in the first half of the quarter one, second half in the quarter three, because I believe that we need to regain or recover our cash for the quarter two. This for the first half of the payment amounting 326,215 is the first quarters of 2020. Then the rest of the second half of the payment will be made in the third quarter of 2020.
Do you mean 22? In the first quarter of 22 and the
Yeah,
third quarter of 22?
I mean third quarter of 2022.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dato, for the proposed solution. Does the board agree with this type of payment to fulfill our outstanding debt to Kencana Berhad? Okay, with the majority of votes, I hereby allow this payment to be implemented. Let us move on to the next agenda. Agenda 12. For our next agenda, I would like to approve the resolution to hold the next annual general meeting on 25th June 2022. Is everyone okay with the date? Ms. Fauzana, can you please check whether we have any notable events for the company on that date?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. We do not have any company events during that day, Mr. Chairman. So I assume we should be able to carry out the annual general meeting on 25th June 2022.
Okay, good. So does the board is available on that date?
Yes, I'm available during that day, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I am available from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. only.
Okay. Puan Sri, are you available?
Yes, me too.
Okay. Okay then. Because everyone's available, I decided to proceed with our annual general meeting on the 25th June 2022. However, I have a follow-up question. Does everyone agree if we do the extraordinary general meeting after the annual general meeting?
Yes, sure, Mr. Chairman.
I have no problem with that, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Dato, are you agree?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Because there
So
is
we
no
will
problem. Yes,
our
Secretary, you
next
may go on.
we will have our next annual general meeting on 25th June 2022. We will use the virtual platform, which is the Google Meet at 9 a.m. After finishing the annual general meeting, we will continue for the extraordinary general meeting on the same platform.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fauzana. After this, please prepare the notice of both annual general meeting and the extraordinary general meeting.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I will send a notice of both annual general meeting and extraordinary general meeting after this.
Okay, thank you. And now I would like to repeat again to all the boards that our annual general meeting and extraordinary general meeting will be held on the 25th June 2022 on Google Meet platform at 9 a.m. Okay. Okay. Thank you, board. It is come to the closing. Thank you very much, my distinguished directors, for participating in this year's annual general meeting. Hopefully, the company is off to a great start in the early 2022 with all the decisions that have been made through the resolutions. Now, I would like to vote to adjourn this meeting. Please raise your hand if you agree to adjourn this meeting. Okay, thank you, everyone. I hereby adjourn this year's annual general meeting. Woo! Okay, thank you, everyone, and have a nice
Thank you
day.
all.